Welcome back to Snackcast.
Hello, dear.
So we're talking about epigenetics, those factors that go above and beyond your regular genetic coding that kind of determines your life expectancy, what kind of diseases you're going to get, that type of thing. Yesterday we closed out kind of talking about thoughts and how they play a role, how the human mind
Plays a major role.
plays arguably the greatest role.
The greatest role,
Right.
right? So when we get into Mind Over Medicine in Lissa Rankin's book, she starts talking about stress responses. And really what the core of this thing is, when your body is in a relaxed mode, that's when it's healing. Right? That's when it's healing itself. When it's in a stress response, and that stress response can be artificially created,
Relationships,
or it can be real.
you're
right?
about to get mugged.
Yeah, you're about to get mugged is a real stress response.
Right.
Right.
Fight or flight.
Worrying about paying next month's mortgage payment is an artificial stress response because it's not here. It's not right this second.
But it's real. The body, the mind perceives it.
The mind tells no difference. The mind cannot
Right.
comprehend a potential stress response versus a real stress response, if
Right.
that makes any sense. So worrying about me getting cancer 6 years from now is an artificial stress response, and the body doesn't know the difference. So
But it does prevent, because it doesn't know the difference, it prevents getting into that resting, relaxing state.
Correct. So she talks about some of the things that you can do to alleviate stress response, right? We know the two that we preach here at YesFit, diet and exercise, right? The other two are community and faith, and she'll talk about that a little bit as well. But just how important is community? When we can talk about faith next, maybe we'll do that on one of the next Snackcasts. But community, she talks about the community of Rosetta, and this is the third time I've heard about this community it's Rosetta, Pennsylvania, and I guess the setting is like 1961.
It's like Italian?
Yeah, it's an Italian community that was started in Pennsylvania, and they came over from a lot of immigrants from Italy came over to start this city. And it's very much a community base. The person who started the community wanted farmland, gardening, live together, faith together, work together, eat together. Everything was about community. And one of the doctors visited the town, and he realized that this town in particular had 50% less cardiac events than the national average, and they couldn't figure out why.
Is it in the water? Is it right?
Right. Is it? Are they? They're Italians, or they cooking with olive oil? Are they? And what they really came back to was this community. They weren't in good shape. They didn't exercise. They didn't do a lot of what you would consider taking vitamins or healthy medicines and all this other stuff. What really came back to was they had a lot of people that were relying on them, and they were.
It's purpose.
It was building community.
So the guy who works the 9 to 5, makes a ton of money, hates his life, blah blah blah.
Doesn't have people in his life.
Right.
Doesn't have purpose.
Versus the uncle I think we all have that did it all wrong. Drank too much, ate too much, never exercised.
Party.
Never this, never that. But
Life is
100
easy.
years old.
Happiness, right? Happiness,
purpose. Yeah.
is a big deal. And so yeah, they've kind of narrowed that down. And they got to it. There was a ton of people overweight. They ate pizzas all the time. I mean, it wasn't like.
But they were needed. They were relied upon.
Yeah.
They found purpose in community.
Yeah. And when you think about that, I mean, that means when you, at the end of the day, like, yeah, tomorrow's going to be hard. I guess they had nobody on welfare.
Isn't that?
They had nobody. I mean, they weren't attacking other people on social media.
I mean, this is not in the book. This is my own connecting dots, but it's almost a form of torture is to remove the individual from others. Isolate, we hear about the old prisons with the isolation and, was Shawshank Redemption. They threw them in a hole.
Right.
But it was literally a form of mental torture to disallow human engagement.
Therefore,
isn't the opposite
right?
a beneficial thing?
But we do it to ourselves, right? Like,
Absolutely.
I don't want to go to church this weekend. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to see anybody. I don't want to, like, oh gosh, they're going to ask me to get involved.
Garage doors.
Oh, I got to do
fences.
Yeah, I got to pack for kids pack this weekend.
We sit on our back porch now instead of our front porch, waving at the neighbors.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, it's a ton of things. And then not only are you like I made a comment about it, not only are you becoming extremely lonely, and I mean, think about when all of these different shootings that we had. We just had one the other day, a really nasty one, right?
Yeah.
These people are recluses.
Yeah.
They're bullied. They're reclused into loneliness. I mean, it's not. Never once has any of these guys or gals been a part of a big social group. They are lonely individuals. And so you can see this angle of stress and how stress actually hurts these individuals. So
that's interesting. So the book calls it community. I would definitely tie it back to, purpose, and that purpose coming from you're helping others. You're beneficial to others. They need you. It's probably in part, I mean, I'm a big believer in family.
Yeah. And so you mentioned the other opposite of that equation. Not only are we getting lonely, then we're getting lonely and getting on social media, and I'm firing darts at people that that's toxic, that I have no idea who they are, or I'm allowing their behavior to get me angry and increase that stress response again.
Yeah.
So it's no wonder mental health in this country has gone the way it's gone. We are really becoming recluses, and then allowing social media to replace what is normally real life.
Conversation and community.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like this one really verged on kind of the negative. I'm excited to get to how we focus on improvement for these things.
Yeah, I think we'll work on that tomorrow.
It's...
but think about that.
It is symbolic of our society.
50% better health because
they cared about their neighbor.
Because they cared about their neighbor.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And I think they lived longer too.
Yeah.
They had better living health and longer life expectancy.
Yeah.
And it wasn't in the water.
It was happiness.
Yeah. Yep. All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in. Questions, comments, concerns, email us at snackcast@yes.fit.
Stay moving.
See ya!